All right, UFC 320, October 4th, T-Mobile, Las Vegas. The champ, Magomed Ankalaev, defends his belt against Alex Pereira. John Jones, the GOAT. The co-main event for that fight will be Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Another badass fight on that card is Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree. UFC 321, October 25th, Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane.
Dana White has cooked. The UFC is cooked, and the UFC are going to have a phenomenal second half of the year. Let's get right into it, starting with Ankalaev versus Pereira. Now, this has been announced as presumably the main event. Well, I'm pretty sure it's the main event of UFC 320. I'm saying presumably because we'll get to the other title fight that's on this card. But presumably, this is the main event. Ankalaev versus Pereira 2. Now, funny enough, I was actually going to put a video out pretty soon about how Pereira, he might move to heavyweight. How is he going to do against Ankalaev? I was going to do like an early sort of Alex Pereira fight prediction for him against Ank and him versus Aspinall. But then this gets announced. So now I'm going to have to put that out till 2 weeks from now. Nonetheless, right, off topic, but nonetheless, Ankalaev versus Pereira 2. I think it's a great fight. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, were speculating that he was going to move to heavyweight. I really was believing that he was going to move to heavyweight. I'm talking about Alex, right? I thought Alex was going to move to heavyweight because he's been showing that he's 247 or he's been showing that he's like heavy is my point. You know, so I really thought he was going to move up, but it looks like we're getting the Ankalaev rematch. And it seems as though they did float out the idea of Ankalaev versus Yuri. We'll get to Yuri, spoiler alert, but it seems like they did float around like Ankalaev versus Yuri, you know, or Ankalaev versus Dip, blah, 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 but at the end of the day, it seems like they're just going to stick with this fight. It seems like we're getting the rematch. I'm glad we're getting the rematch as well because I really do think Pereira has a good chance. I really do. I think a lot of people, you know, are going to say, oh, no, Ankalaev is going to KO him this time, which Ankalaev has already put out his own prediction. He says he's going to KO he says he's going to KO Alex this time. I doubt it. His best KO win is Johnny Walker, but still, you know, I'm sure Kenny Okoye is already going to do a breakdown about how Ankalaev is going to make it more clearer this time or blah, 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 right? But nonetheless, I do think Pereira has a really good chance. I do think that him actually taking time off and sort of healing his injuries, you know, sort of looking back at the fight probably and honing his skills, hopefully, and not just off partying, but hopefully he was honing his craft this whole time. I do think this is a winnable fight. With all that being said, I'm probably going to pick Ankalaev to win. I know I just said that whole thing, but I do think Ankalaev will probably win because it is a safer pick, to be honest anyways. He's going to be the favorite, and I'm not just going to pick him because he's the favorite, but I'm saying that it just makes more sense. You know, it does make more sense. He is the younger guy, and though he had a pretty good game plan in the first fight, he could evolve and add on to that game plan, so we'll see. But I love this fight. It's a sick fight, and I do think Alex Pereira has almost gone under the radar as like a big star. I feel like people are talking about Ilya right now and Islam, and I feel like Alex Pereira is like the most forgotten star. Like, it's crazy. People forget this guy exists, but it is what it is. Alex Ankalaev 2, sick fight. Now, this is the co-main event. Dvalishvili versus Sandhagen. I really didn't think this fight would happen this early. My predictions were like maybe they'd save it for January, December, maybe co-main event of MSG. But in October is kind of insane. But I mean, Merab, you guys can't say anything about Merab. I've been critical of Merab way in the past, you know. No, I'm kidding. I've always been a Merab fan, guys. I've been glazing him since day one. No, I'm kidding. But Merab, you know, you can't say anything bad about this guy. He literally, this is his third fight this year against another tough opponent. Now, all opponents are tough, but you get my point. I mean, Merab is a freaking dog, man. And Sandhagen as well, to his credit. I mean, he took no damage in his last fight, and I feel like he probably has a pretty easy time making weight. I mean, look at the guy. He's built like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. But I do think this is a sick fight. It's a 5-round co-main event. Obviously, it's 5 rounds. But it's a co-main event. Phenomenal. And it's in Vegas, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that, but these fights are in Vegas, surprisingly. Not in Abu Dhabi. That's what interested me a lot. We'll get to the Abu Dhabi main event because they did announce that, but these fights are in Vegas. Initially, when I saw it announced, I'm like, oh, this is Abu Dhabi, right? You know, Ankalaev versus Pereira in Abu Dhabi. No, it's in Vegas. So, very interesting. I have no problem with it, but I'm just saying it's kind of interesting that they decided to put these guys in America and not, you know, in Abu Dhabi. Merab, you would think he'd kind of fit in that region. I know he's Georgian, blah, blah, blah. And I know he's beaten Umar recently, so maybe they're not the biggest fans of him, but I'm not sure. I preferred in Vegas, to be honest. Fuck Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi's going to get a crazy card as well. I'm going to give you guys a bit of an early prediction on what's going to be the co-main event of the Abu Dhabi card, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But this fight's sick. 320. It looks great, and I think, honestly, early prediction for this one, like I did for Alex and Ank, I'm going to go with Merab, obviously. I mean, I don't know why. I just spit everywhere. I don't know why I have to take a deep breath for that one. I'm going to go with Merab. I think he's going to win this one. Sandhagen has a good chance. He could be a very tough test. Merab is getting older. The training camps are getting harder. The injuries are piling up. The blah, 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 all these things. But at the end of the day, as older as he's getting, it seems like he's getting better. It seems like he's evolving like a Pokemon. So I can't really pick against him at this moment of time. So I'm going to say Merab wins this one, probably by a decision. I think Sandhagen is a bit smarter than O'Malley, and I think he will be a bit gun-shy at times. But you never know. Sandhagen is a bit like, sometimes he'll not be gun-shy, and then sometimes he will. So I worry he might be very gun-shy in this fight, but I would think that he would understand, like, okay, you're not going to prevent the takedowns. Let's be honest. You're going to get taken down. So I think in his head he's going to know that, but he still might be hesitant because at the end of the day, like, I don't know. It's Merab, bro. At the end of the day, it's Merab. Who can beat this guy? I don't think Corey Sandhagen can. Now let's move on to the final fight for this card that's been announced. Prochazka versus Rountree. This was like just a cherry on top, right? Because, first of all, they didn't have to announce this, but this surprises me a lot. I truly thought they were going to go with Prochazka versus Oberg. I don't know what's going on with Carlos Oberg. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he's going to face like Dominic Reyes, which would be kind of a step back. I don't know if he's going to get a title shot. I'm not sure what's going on with Carlos Oberg. Very confusing. Also, what is going on with Dominic Reyes as well? But yeah, Prochazka versus Rountree. Insanely sick fight. This is the fight. This is a phenomenal fight. There's not much I can say about this fight. It kind of speaks for itself. It's the last samurai. It's two guys that think they're like, you got Khalil who thinks he's like some Muay Thai fighter. He is, but I'm saying like he kind of went to Thailand for a bunch of years and he has the headband on and he thinks he's like this Muay Thai guy. And you got Prochazka who thinks he's a samurai. But I like both of these guys. I'm a massive Yuri Prochazka fan, just like every other MMA fan on the planet is. We all love Yuri, so I think he's going to win this one, by the way. Just saying that flat out. I think he's going to win this one via a knockout, to be honest with you. Yuri is unbeatable. Unless you're Alex or maybe Ankalaev. I think he could even be Ankalaev, but I would say Alex or Ank. Reyes could have a chance because he does have good counterpunching and he has KO power and all that stuff. But, he's already beat Reyes, though. I forgot about the yeesh. Never mind. Yeah, Reyes has cooked it. So, yeah, it's really just Ankalaev or Pereira that can beat Yuri Prochazka. I don't think Rountree is in that group, man. I think Rountree, he looked good against Jamal Hill, don't get me wrong, but Jamal Hill, man, and Yuri Prochazka, that's like, stylistically, Jamal Hill was kind of a perfect fight for Khalil Rountree. Perfect. A guy who stays at range a little bit, can't really close the distance well, flat-footed, there to be leg kicked. Like, that's a dream matchup for guys like Rountree, for guys like Pereira, for guys like Yuri even, So I think, Rountree, he's cooked in this one, man. He could get better. He is getting better, don't get me wrong. And, again, he beat Jamal Hill. That's a decent win, but hey, bro, this ain't no Jamal Hill, bro. This is Yuri Prochazka. He's going to be in your face. He's not going to play the leg kicking game. Oh, you're going to stay at range and I'm going to stay back here. No, he's not going to hang back while you're chewing up his legs. He's going to get in your face and try to KO you with anything possible. And he has head movement now. Yuri Prochazka. I'm going to say, if we're going to be specific here, right? So I think Merab beats Corey by a decision. I think Ankalaev beats Pereira by a decision. Another close decision, I'll say, right? I think Yuri would beat Rountree, maybe by like a round 3 or late rounds 2 kind of knockout. I could really see him getting a finish here. I really could. I honestly really could. I think Rountree, again, I want to see how Rountree is going to do when someone's pushing the pace on him. We've seen it in the past, and it's just, again, his best win is Jamal Hill. I know we said that before the Jamal Hill. When I picked Rountree to beat Hill, but a lot of people picked Hill, and their reasoning was, oh, but Rountree's best win is Anthony Smith. As if, like, Jamal Hill isn't, like, shit. Like, right? Like, there was MMA YouTubers that were picking Jamal Hill as if he's not a terrible fighter at this stage. At one point, he was pretty good. At this stage, he literally has no knees, no mobility, right? So I think Rountree, that was an easy pick. And plus, styles make fights. I think stylistically, this is not favorable to Rountree at all. So Yuri by whatever he wants. No, probably by a KO, right? And finally, Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Now, obviously, this was the fight that we all expected. Again, I kind of said that I wouldn't be... I was expecting low-key for Aspinall versus Pereira. I'm not going to lie, I had a feeling about it, but that's not the direction that they ended up going. That's not what ended up happening. I'm kind of glad about that as well. I think if you're going to do that fight, I'd like to see Alex beat Ankalaev first, and then you could do that. You know, but if he doesn't beat Ankalaev, you could still do it, but it doesn't have as much juice. But Aspinall versus Gane's a great fight. Who am I kidding? Aspinall is going to KO this guy in the first. Actually, I'm going to say Aspinall subs him. I'm going to say what happens. I'm just going to get right into the prediction. I mean, it's a great fight, but let's actually get into the prediction because there's no horsing around with this one, right? No Mackenzie Dern, but there's no horsing around, right? So what I think is going to happen is I think Cyril Gane is going to be very hesitant. I think he's going to move a lot, like a lot around the cage. He's just going to try to circle away from Aspinall. But I really do think Aspinall is going to go for a double leg or single leg or some kind of a takedown and get a Kimura. I could see it. I could see him getting a Kimura or like some ground and pound or some. I could see him getting like a late round one Kimura. I really could. I could see him. I could just see. I don't know why I'm saying a Kimura specifically. Maybe it's just because I've seen him do that to Volkov from top position. So I feel like maybe he could get a guillotine. I don't know. But I do think that a submission of that kind of Kimura type of submission makes sense. It does make sense. And I do think he's leaps and bounds ahead of Cyril Gane on the feet, but also on the ground. Again, he could KO him on the feet, but I do think Cyril Gane is going to move a lot. He's going to move a lot. So I think Tom Aspinall's got this one. Again, it's a great fight, but not really much to sort of break down. It's the fight we expected. We know Aspinall said recently that he, he's got a fight signed. That was kind of the rumor. And so, again, I thought it was either Cyril Gane or Pereira. It's Cyril Gane. Is Cyril Gane that deserving? I mean, not really. I think it's pretty unfair that Cyril Gane basically just gets to, like, beat some... He robbed Volkov, right? Which he shouldn't even have been given that fight. Realistically, Volkov should be fighting... I mean, I guess it was Cyril Gane was the only option, but it's just like, fuck, man. Fuck Cyril Gane, man. He gets to rob Volkov and then just sit out for like 2 years. And now I'm getting a title shot. Who cares? He's gay anyways. He's French, so no offense to French people. I'm kidding. But, it's just annoying, man. It's just annoying that Cyril Gane just gets given a title shot off of just inactivity. But nonetheless, Tom Aspinall, finally we have a heavyweight title defense. It's been since, last November? Like, if you even want to count that. But this is an undisputed title defense, right? The last one was it was for the heavyweight title, but it wasn't undisputed because you still had Tom walking around with the interim one. So this is an undisputed heavyweight title defense, and I'm excited. Let's actually talk about, though, what I think will be the co-main event. I don't even know. No, I could see maybe, Abu Dhabi, Zhang Wei Li versus Shevchenko. I could see that. I could see that being the co-main event. I could see that because when you really think about it, I mean, Pantoja, I don't think he's coming back in October. A bit too soon. Marab already is booked, right? Ilya, too soon. Volk, maybe. But I think Volk versus whoever is going to be the co-main event of, the November MSG card, which will probably be headlined by Makhachev and JDM. Right, so then we're looking at, okay, lightweight's eliminated, right? Welterweight's eliminated. Middleweight, DDP's not coming back. Light heavyweight, obviously it's the month prior. So I'm thinking either they do Zhang Wei Li versus Shevchenko, or nothing. I don't know, or just some massive, maybe a Bilal Usman. That's not big enough. It's Abu Dhabi. You guys have to understand it's Abu Dhabi. They overly stack it. It has to be like a massive star. So those are the names I'm thinking, I'm thinking either a women's title fight. You could do a Bilal Usman. You could. You could. It's not. It's a big fight. It's a big fight. To be fair, it is a big fight. It is a big fight. I've already actually done a Tom Aspinall title defense card builder. Go check that out. It's somewhere on my channel, and I've put some good fights on there. I think like Patty Pimblett could fight on this card. Actually, you know what? Patty Arman's a good shout. So there's options. There are options. There are guys that are going to be available around this time. But nonetheless, make sure you guys like and sub. What do you guys think of these fights, man? I think these are sick fights. Rountree versus Prochazka, sick fight. Dvalishvili, Sandhagen. I was not expecting nothing to be announced. I saw that the UFC Instagram said, we got some announcements from the boss man coming later, but nothing like this, man. I don't know what I expected, but all of these, I expected maybe like, Aspinall, Gane, and maybe some other stuff. We don't even have the three, I believe it's 319 co-main, so it is what it is. But again, this rematch is going to be sick. This fight we just spoke about, going to be sick. That's all I got for you guys today. Like and sub, become a member in the description, comment, share, blah, blah, blah. Thank you guys. Peace.